the BM chair, the principal, members of the board present, and the teachers and the students. Good afternoon. You look very smart from here. Can you look at your friend, Mwambie, you are very smart. I think this is the first day in your school life that you are wearing the way you are wearing, isn't it? Yes. Because it is a special day. I have only been given that minute, and I know by the grace of God I will bring what I am bringing. First, I want to thank you, Madam Principal. I always tell her that she is the best principal in Meru County. I've had the privilege. I have had the privilege of speaking to so many schools. Even now I'm coming from speaking to another school. But this school is different. It is different. And if you look at the entry behavior, the mark that you enter with and the grain that you exit with, if we sit down and analyze, you'll realize that you are the best school in this county. If you calculate the marks you came with in primary school and the grain that you are going to exit with, I'm telling you, there's no other school in this county that adds more value to the student than this school. So you are in the best school. Let's clap for the management. I am talking about finishing strong. Can you look at your friend and tell him or her, we are finishing? Can you see the wide gates of the universities wide open for you? Yes. And I believe that this year, even the number will be bigger than the one that we had last year. I share that belief. Do you believe? Yes. So we are talking about finishing strong. And when I see you wearing those ribbons, ribbons are worn in special occasions. And when I was preparing about this talk, I talked about confronting the most defining moment of your life. And I want to say that this period, the next 1 month or so in your school life, is actually the most important period of your life. And my question is, I was asking myself, how do you conduct yourself in the very best period of your life? How do you conduct yourself in a life-defining moment? Can you tell your friend, this period is a life-defining moment? Exams are not just papers. They are not just papers. Exams are the gateway to our career path. Exams, especially KCSE, is actually the gateway to the career of your choice. So we are not just confronting papers. We are actually going to face the most critical moment of our life. I am saying, with that grade, you can join university anytime. If I want to change my career line to become a lawyer, I can just go to the university and they will only ask for my Form 4 certificate. So this exam is the most important paper that you have done. So I was asking myself, how do people conduct themselves when they are the most important period of life? And I went to the doctor's room, the surgeons. How many doctors do we have in the house? I see the confidence. Can we give them a clap? So when I was preparing this talk, I thought that the most, when we talk about life and death, I thought about a patient on an operating table. When a doctor is preparing for that period, actually they ask the relatives sometime to sign that these people, the patient, can either die or live. How do surgeons prepare to face a life-critical moment of saving a patient? Number one, they wear special clothes. I can see you wearing special clothes. And it tells me that you are to perform the very important life-defining assignment. So doctors wear special clothes. When they enter the surgery room, they don't carry anything that would distract them. Distractions. You will never see a doctor in an operating room with a phone. You will never do that, because a phone can be a distraction. These doctors have a sense of urgency. They know that this patient, if we get late for 1 hour, we can lose. And so Form 4s, we must take this period, number one, with a sense of urgency. Tell your friend, we have to treat this period with sense of urgency. In other words, we have to prioritize this period. We have to do what? Prioritize this period. That nothing else matters in our life. This period is the most important period of your life. Doctors usually have that focus. And when I talk about focus, I'm looking at a marathoner. I am looking at someone who is maybe going for the final lap. How do they conduct themselves? Number one, they increase the speed in which they run. We have to actually prepare as we face those exams. Now, when these people are running, especially the final meters of the race, they do not even look at themselves. They don't care how they are even dressed. They do not care about the cheering audience. They care on one thing, the finishing line. And I'm challenging you this afternoon to care for the finishing line. Tell your friend, you have to care for the finishing line. And as a student, as a speaker, as a teacher, I have seen students change their grades at this very time. I want to echo the words of the chairman, that you can change your grade in the remaining period. And it is true. I have also seen students destroy their grades at this period. And when I talk to students, especially the Form 4s, I remember one of my classmates. I know him by his 3 names. His name was Alex. I had never defeated Alex in class. He was a student who had transferred from middle school with 408 marks. Very brilliant student. But his conduct during KCSE period destroyed what he had been doing. I want to say that it is easier to actually destroy the grade than to build it at this time. And that is why we have to take care, number one, of our physical health. Tell your friend your physical health. Number 2, we have to take care of our mental health. Very important. Actually, the most important. Tell your friend you have to take care of your mental health. Very important. Alex felt that he was a Form 4. And the doors to usher him out of the school life was wide open. That gate is wide open for us. Because I know by December 1st, no student will be in this school. So the gate is wide open to release you. But the question is, what will you be walking out with as we prepare to move out of that gate? Very important. We must never celebrate until we achieve it. Tell your friend, do not celebrate until you achieve it. I know your performance. You have been doing very well. And I expect that you exceed. I am using the word exceeding your performance. I know you exceed. But now we must conduct, the way we conduct ourselves, we must conduct ourselves in a way that we want to exceed what we have been getting. KCSE is an exam that most of the students actually pass more than what they have been doing. And that's why I know that you will exceed the grade that you have been getting in this class. How many share that belief with me? Clap for yourself. Now, what are some of the things that we need to prepare against? I have found the one, they were ones that God gave to Joshua. Actually, if you study Joshua chapter 1, those verses are repeated, I think, more than 3 times. Be strong and courageous. The opposite of the word courage is what? Fear. And I want to share very briefly about fear. Fear is a natural emotion. Very natural. If you don't have that fear of exam, then you are not waiting for an exam. I'm coming to affirm that the fear of exam is a very normal fear. Tell your friend it's a very normal fear. But over-fearing can interfere with the way you handle that exam. Over what? Fearing. Very briefly, I want to mention some types of fear so that you at least know what fear is all about. We have fear of public speaking. That one is ranked above almost all other fears. The fear of speaking before others. Now, do you know that even the greatest of all speakers fear public speaking? That anytime you are mentioned to come and speak in public, something happens within your body system. I can see some of you nodding because you know it. But what we do is that we never concentrate on fear. We never concentrate on fear. Public speakers who concentrate on fear end up forgetting what they were coming to say. Another fear, exam fear. It is there. Actually, even the PhD holders. I know Madam owns masters. But she can ascertain that when she was doing those exams, the fear of exams was there. The PhD student also have that fear. And it is a positive fear because, number one, it helps you to prepare. When we were competing in the races, 100 meters, 200 meters, anytime you are told on your mat, the adrenaline is there. You feel the heart beating faster. Have we experienced that? Yes, it is there. So it is something very natural. So when you see yourself with that fear, please do not feel overwhelmed. Do not feel overwhelmed. Why? Because it is what? Natural. It is natural to have that fear. But now we are saying that being overwhelmed with that fear sometimes can interfere with the way we respond to questions. Now, those questions that are in any subject, whether it is a science subject, whether it is mathematics, whether it is English, number one, they depend on your memory. They depend on your memory. Memory is what you have been told, what you know. So the recalling aspect. But they also depend on the creative part of your brain. Creativity. Tell your friend creativity. Now, you cannot predict accurately the ones that will be used to ask you to write that composition. But as long as you are prepared your mind to confront it, as long as you have the confidence, you will always get the questions on creativity. So I'm saying sometimes you have experienced, maybe we have experienced that. We call it blanking out. Blanking out. Why do students blank out in exams? Because they are overwhelmed by fear. And I'm coming here today to speak on handling fear. Number one, how do you handle fear? Number one, preparation. What? Preparation. And I know you are prepared. So that one is not even the problem. Is it a problem? But you have to continue doing what? Preparing. Preparing. And on preparation, and this is the one that I'm speaking and giving to all Form 4s. Number one, do not enter that exam room without knowing the compulsory areas in every subject. I repeat, do not go into that classroom without knowing the compulsory areas in in that subject. I know the examiners have spoken to you, and you know. The teachers also have told you the compulsory what? Areas. And this is the question I'm going to pose. You are preparing for chemistry paper 2, 10 minutes. Which area are you supposed to read? I want to hear it in unison. Sisi wote. 10 minutes before facing chemistry paper 2, which areas are we supposed to be preparing on? The periodic table. That is one area. Number 2, electrochemistry. I can see you are well prepared. Another area, organic chemistry. Can we clap for ourselves? You are prepared. Because at this period, it is not the period of reading all the books. Reading book 1 to book 4, cover to cover. It is the time to actually prepare best on what we know is in the exams. You have 5 minutes to study for English paper 1. Which areas do we need to prepare on? Functional writing. You are well prepared. Madam Martha Nikiketi, your students are well prepared. Now, if you don't know the functional, those functional skills, please, you have an assignment to know it before you enter the exam room. If you have not handled the periodic table questions well, you have the assignment to do what? To handle it before you enter there. If you have not handled the common areas in organic chemistry, you have. Now, if you know those areas, they give you confidence. They give you what? Confidence. Anytime, sometimes maybe you are like, have been called to speak to very huge audience. Maybe sometimes fear can come. But anytime fear confronts me, I think of the subject I'm going to speak on. When that fear comes, please think of what you know in that particular subject. Let what you have learned give you what? Confidence. The chair has already said that you cannot have confidence if you have nothing. And I'm repeating, do not go to that exam room without something about that subject. And even when you miss a question in that paper, please remember that A's do not start at 100. A's do not start at 100, meaning there's still a small point of you missing on something. But if you can get everything, the better. If you can get everything, the better. So as I summarize on fear, I'm saying we can only fight fear by, number 1, preparing. So believing is extremely important. Believing is extremely important. Very important. Now, other things during that time, please do not start something new. Do not start any habit during this period. Do not start any habit during this period. If you don't know how to ride a bike, do not know during this period. Why? Because in the process, you can harm one of your, imagine ile mkono unaandika nayo, ikuwe harmed. Number 1, we have said we have to prepare on the mental aspect and on the what? Physical aspect. Do not start anything. I was talking about Alex, the student that I only defeated in KCSE. Yeye aliona hii wakati it was a boarding school. He started selling alcohol in his school. Please do not start anything new. Tell your friend, do not start anything new. However good. However good. When I teach on priority, I teach on priority, I talk about what is urgent and important. This exam, number 1, is important. Number 2, this exam is urgent. When that gives you what is urgent and important, then everything else do not matter. And at this point, Form 4s, I want to say that nothing else matters. Tell your friend, nothing else matters. In any case, if you encounter any sort of stress, please let it stay away from you. You don't confront it after you have completed your exams. You don't confront it after completing your what? Your exams. As I finish, please stop worrying. Worry does not solve anything. I know we have the fear of unknown. We have come to tell you that you will excel in that exam. So do not be worried. Jesus' teaching said, by worrying, we cannot even earn a day in our exam period. Kama hiyo mtihani itaisha, we cannot earn a day by worrying. Neither can we subtract a day by doing what? Worrying. So we have to prepare, and I know you are prepared. Can you ask your friend, are you prepared? But still remember, the preparation time is not over yet. The issues, boys, mambo ya miraa, wachana nayo hii wakati. And I repeat, do not engage yourself in any pleasure at this time. Sijui kama umenisikia. Do not engage in any pleasure at this time. Whatever sort of pleasure. Avoid a lot of traveling also. Concentrate on that exam. We have to concentrate on what matters most. And I want to tell you that this exam matters most. It matters most. Otherwise, I want to say that engage God in prayers. Engage God in prayers. Exams, let me tell you, everything physical in this world has two dimensions. Number one, it has a spiritual dimension and a physical what? Dimension. The enemy is not happy that you are going to excel. But God is happy that you are going to excel. Please take time to pray. Number one, for yourself. Number two, for your classmates. Number three, for your teachers. Number four, for your school. Because exams are not just physical aspects. They are not just mental aspects. They are also what? Spiritual. And when I talk about spiritual aspects, I remember when we were doing our KCPE exam, one of our candidates got sick during the rehearsal day and they never did that exam. You can imagine preparing for exam and not doing. That all of you will complete successfully that exam. But I have said, let's pray for ourselves. You will excel in that exam. May the Lord walk with you throughout that period. That not anyone among us you will fall sick during the exam period. That not anyone among us you will encounter any form of stress during that period. That all of you will excel in that exam. May the Lord walk with you.